Welcome back, everyone. As we gear up for one of the most consequential elections in recent history, the stakes have never been higher. The latest polling data and market predictions have sent shockwaves through the political landscape, particularly as we inch closer to November. Will Kamala Harris hold her ground against Donald Trump, or are we witnessing a seismic shift that could redefine the electoral map? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear might just change everything you thought you knew about the upcoming election. As of now, Polymarket has made its predictions for the 2024 election, and the numbers are startling. Trump is emerging as a formidable contender, boasting the 55.4% probability of winning. With only 26 days left until Election Day, the dynamics have shifted dramatically, flipping key states that could ultimately decide the race. This video will dissect the latest updates on the electoral map, diving deep into what these figures mean for both candidates. Let's start on the West Coast, where the landscape remains predominantly blue. States like Washington, Oregon, and California are expected to firmly support Harris, with her chances soaring above 95%. These states have long been Democratic strongholds, and current predictions affirm that they will remain so. However, when we turn our gaze to Nevada, things get interesting. While Joe Biden won this battleground by more than 2 points in 2020, recent polling indicates an almost dead heat between Harris and Trump. Harris currently holds a slight lead at 52%, with Trump nipping at her heels at 49%. The betting markets suggest this race could go either way, adding an air of unpredictability to the outcome in this crucial state. Next, let's discuss Arizona, a state that has been a focal point for both parties in recent elections. Trump's prospects here have improved significantly, as he appears poised to reclaim a state he lost to Biden in the previous election. Harris' performance has been disappointing, especially considering her underwhelming showing at the Democratic convention, where she garnered only 0.3%. Given these factors, it's no surprise that current polling shows Trump with a lead of 0.9%. This shift makes Arizona lean red on our updated electoral map, a sign of potential trouble for the Harris campaign. Moving on to the mountain states, Colorado and New Mexico, we see a more favorable outlook for Harris. In Colorado, she enjoys a staggering 97% likelihood of winning, while in New Mexico, her chances sit at 91%. However, it's worth noting that this represents a reversal from previous months when the Republican Party seemed to gain traction in these areas. The Democrats have regained a strong foothold thanks to the dynamics created by Harris' nomination, making these states solid blue. As we venture further into the heartland, a stark political contrast emerges, underscoring the deep divide across the country. This region, often referred to as the Republican stronghold, continues to show overwhelming support for Donald Trump. States like Texas, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, and the Dakotas are expected to fall firmly in Trump's column, maintaining their long-standing allegiance to the Republican Party. The vast rural landscapes, coupled with conservative-leaning populations, make these areas some of the safest bets for Trump's campaign. His messaging on issues like energy independence, agriculture, and gun rights resonates strongly here, further solidifying his dominance. Texas, the largest state in the region, remains a crucial Republican fortress. Despite Democratic efforts to flip Texas in recent election cycles, Trump enjoys a significant lead, bolstered by a 90% probability of victory. The Lone Star State has long been a conservative bastion, but shifting demographics and urban growth in cities like Houston, Dallas, and Austin have created pockets of Democratic support. However, this emerging blue wave hasn't been strong enough to turn Texas into a battleground, as rural voters in the state remain deeply loyal to Trump's platform. His hold on this state underscores its critical role in any Republican path to victory. Meanwhile, Utah, historically a safe red state, has also seen steady support for Trump, despite some discontent within the state's Mormon population in previous elections. This year, however, polling suggests that Trump's appeal has rebounded, and he is likely to win here by a wide margin. continuing Utah's tradition of favoring conservative candidates. Smaller states like Wyoming, Idaho, and the Dakotas are equally crucial to Trump's electoral base. In Wyoming, the state's deep-rooted conservative values, particularly around issues of coal mining and land management, have resulted in unwavering support for the Republican Party. With a 94% probability of victory, Trump is expected to dominate the state's electoral landscape without contest. Similarly, in Idaho, where rural voters dominate the political scene, Trump's populist rhetoric on immigration and limited government resonates strongly, ensuring another easy win. North Dakota and South Dakota have been steadfast Republican states for decades, and this election is no different, with both states projected to support Trump with over 90% probability. However, within this sea of red, there are a few pockets of blue or contested territories. For example, Nebraska, a state that splits its electoral votes by congressional district, offers an interesting twist. While the state as a whole is solidly red, Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, which includes the Omaha metropolitan area, has become a battleground. This district leans slightly blue, with Kamala Harris holding an 89% probability of winning. Urban and suburban voters in Omaha, who tend to favor more progressive policies on health care, education, and climate change, are driving this shift, making Nebraska's 2nd district one of the few bright spots for the Democratic campaign in the heartland. Further north, we find Alaska, a state that traditionally aligns with Republicans, but carries its own unique political dynamic. With a 92% probability of victory, Trump is expected to win Alaska handily. The state's strong focus on resource extraction industries, particularly oil and gas, makes it a natural fit for Trump's pro-energy policies. However, it's worth noting that Alaska has an independent streak, and while it's safely Republican in presidential elections, it occasionally bucks the trend in state-level races. Still, in this election, Trump's dominance in Alaska reflects the broader trend of solidifying Republican support across the heartland. The electoral trends in these states highlight the deep partisan divide that characterizes the current political landscape. While the coasts may trend more liberal, the heartland remains a Republican stronghold, reinforcing the notion that America is increasingly polarized along geographic lines. As we move further into the election season, these reliable red states will form the backbone of Trump's path to 270 electoral votes, even as Harris looks to gain ground in more competitive regions. The electoral trends show a country deeply divided along political lines, with the heartland remaining a critical Republican stronghold. As we edge closer to November, these red states will play a pivotal role in shaping the outcome, while Harris fights for ground in competitive battlegrounds. Now, before we dive into the next segment, I want to share something exciting with you. A PhD neuroscientist has uncovered a 7-second Tesla ritual that's said to attract wealth effortlessly. Be sure to check the link in the first pinned comment below for more details. Now, let's get back into the exploration. Now, let's turn our attention to the Midwest, where the outcome is critical for both candidates. Harris must win most of the states in this region, namely Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, to secure the necessary electoral votes. Just a few weeks ago, it seemed like she was in a commanding position in these battlegrounds, but the tide has shifted considerably. Starting with Minnesota, a state that hasn't gone red since 1972, Harris currently holds a 91% probability of winning. While that may sound promising, it's a far cry from the confidence expected in a state that has historically leaned Democratic. Her lead is only 4%, which raises concerns among her supporters. In neighboring Wisconsin, polling shows Trump has reclaimed the lead, marking a significant shift since early August. Harris's average lead in recent surveys is dwindling, and the betting market suggests that this state is tilting red. Michigan presents an even grimmer picture for Harris. This traditionally liberal state, which Biden won by a narrow margin in 2020, is now seeing Trump with a 52% chance of winning against Harris's 49%. The implications of losing Michigan would be catastrophic for the Democratic campaign, as it serves as a critical component of their strategy for electoral success. As we move to Pennsylvania, the situation becomes even more pronounced. This state is often seen as a bellwether, and Trump currently holds a significant advantage with a 56% likelihood of winning. In 2016, Clinton led in Pennsylvania by a staggering margin at this point in the election cycle, yet she ultimately lost. The parallels to the current situation are concerning for Democrats, as history often repeats itself in politics. Trump's ability to secure Pennsylvania could very well determine the outcome of the election. Turning to the lower Midwest, states like Iowa and Ohio are also leaning heavily Republican. Trump's probability of winning Iowa sits at 93%, while Ohio follows closely behind at 92%. These trends solidify the Republican stronghold in this region, making it increasingly difficult for Harris to recover lost ground. Indiana remains solidly red, while Illinois is firmly blue, maintaining the traditional party alignments. Heading northeast, Harris can find solace in the strong blue support from states like New York, Vermont, and Massachusetts. These areas show solid probabilities for Harris, with her chances in New Hampshire and Maine standing at 87% and 88% respectively. While these states will likely remain blue, the margins of victory could be tighter than in past elections, indicating a potential erosion of support. In the South, Trump's dominance is palpable. He is expected to sweep through states like Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana with little resistance. However, the competitive battlegrounds in this region include Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Virginia shows Harris with an 89% likelihood of victory, but with Trump gaining momentum, it's not a guarantee. In North Carolina, Trump is ahead with a 62% chance of winning, despite some controversy surrounding the gubernatorial candidate. Historically a Republican stronghold, North Carolina's landscape appears to be leaning in Trump's favor once again. Georgia presents a similar picture, with Trump currently leading at 64%. After narrowly losing the state in 2020, he seems poised to reclaim it with a wider margin this time. Finally, let's talk about Florida, a state that has been critical in past elections. Trump boasts a 90% chance of winning Florida, a significant swing from previous cycles. The shift in voter sentiment over the last 4 years has transformed Florida into a reliable Republican territory, which could ultimately seal Harris's fate if she fails to secure crucial votes here. As we analyze this revised electoral map, it becomes evident that Trump is currently projected to win 306 electoral votes, while Harris trails with just 232. The shifting dynamics in key battleground states serve as a stark reminder that momentum can change rapidly in politics. While Harris has had moments of strong performance, the overall trend suggests that she may be struggling to maintain the support necessary for a successful campaign. Democratic strategists are undoubtedly concerned about the implications of these predictions. The decision to replace Biden with Harris at the top of the ticket may be causing anxiety among party loyalists, who see these fluctuations as a potential recipe for disaster. As we move closer to November, the narrative surrounding this election will continue to evolve, and it will be crucial to keep a close eye on polling data and market trends. Will Harris be able to rally her supporters and turn the tide, or will Trump capitalize on the shifting momentum to secure another victory? The next few weeks are going to be pivotal, and we'll be here to keep you updated every step of the way. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights as we head toward the election. Stay informed, and let's navigate this unpredictable political landscape together.